Hey, what's up guys? It's Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and today we're going to review the Astro A50 wireless headphones. This is the Xbox One and Windows 10 edition, which sells for $299.99. There is a PS4 version as well, which is basically the same headphones, same price, and designed for the PS4. So without further ado, we're going to start with the unboxing, talk about some features, what you get in the box. I'm going to use it for a while, and the end of this video will be basically after I've used it for a couple weeks, so we can see what we like and don't like about the headset. Okay, so we have the box out of the sleeve. Now we're going to open it up and see what you get inside. And packaging is pretty similar to the older Astro A50s. I actually had the old set and it was built a bit differently. The old one required a cord to connect to the controller because it came out right around the time Xbox One launched, and it was when a lot of people still had Xbox 360s and 360 controllers. So with that being said, new one is completely wireless. You don't have to have any cord attached to your controller for Xbox One or PC minus the stand. But basically with this headset, you have the flip to mute, which is nice. Going on the bottom, you can see some charge ports here. These little contacts basically rest on the base, and that's how you'll charge the headset. You can charge and use it at the same time. So let's say you forget or you have a really long gaming session. There is a micro USB on the bottom here, so you could always use that, to game and plug in while you go. All right, so here you have the power button, the Dolby button to enable Dolby audio or put it in stereo mode, and then your 3 sound profiles here. You have 1, 2, 3, which you can customize with some software on the desktop. We'll talk about that after. And of course, your volume. You already mentioned the charge contacts at the bottom that basically rests on the base, and that will allow you to charge overnight when you're not using it, or if you forget, you can use the micro USB. Microphone is flip to mute, which makes it nice. It is adjustable, so if you need to bend it away or towards your face, depending on where you want the mic to sit, you have a lot of flexibility there. Pretty much the entire thing is flexible, so you really have a lot of options as far as how you want to shape the microphone, which is nice. What's really cool about the A50s, it has something called Mod Kit compatibility. It's basically a $40 accessory where you can replace these ear pads and headband with a synthetic leather option. And it serves 2 purposes. Magnets and a clip, by the way. It's super easy to get on and off, and then just snap it back in. But the 2 purposes it serves is to isolate audio. So these foam ones are very comfortable, but they're also more open, so you get more ambient noise. With the leather, it basically creates a seal around your ears. It's going to block out a lot of noise, which is really important for places like an esports setting, or if you have multiple people playing in the same room. And then in addition to that, what will enhance your sound, I think the biggest feedback most people provide is not only does it do a good job of blocking noise, but it improves the low frequency sound as well. So let's set these aside. And just like the old A50s, I'm not going to lie, it's nice that it comes with a optical cable. It's really short, it's very skinny, and it's not too flexible. It tends to want to run a certain way. It's very hard to manipulate a cord around things. So if you're kind of a neat freak with wires, you may end up buying a higher quality optical cable that's more flexible, or a couple if you bounce back and forth between PC and Xbox. This is the only way you can get your Dolby Digital sound through Xbox right now, because those wireless transmitters that you use run in stereo mode. Optical is the only way to get Dolby. So we're going to set that aside. Of course, you have your manual in here. That's going to give you a rundown of the warranty and some basic features, also how to use the software. We'll open this up and discuss what's in there. USB charge cable. So technically, you could use 2 of these. One of them is what's going to connect to your computer or your Xbox. This is going to provide power to the base station. It also will serve as the audio source for your microphone. So if you're plugging in a computer, you do need to use this USB cable, or no one can hear you, even if the optical is what's transmitting the sound. So a little bit more configuration necessary, but that's how you get the best sound quality. So again, it could use 2, because if you ever forgot to plug this in or rest this on the base overnight, there's also a micro USB cable that you can plug into on the side to charge it. However, if this is plugged in, you'll need to use your own micro USB cable to plug it in at the same time. It doesn't give you any extras. Here's the base. This is the much improved base, much larger base. I guess that's the biggest thing to point out, is this thing is huge. So if you tend to travel a lot, I think that's the biggest drawback to something like this, is carrying this massive piece in addition to the headphones. However, you do have fiber optic pass-through, which is amazing. because some people, let's say you have your Xbox hooked up to your surround system, you may still want to use your surround system from time to time, and you can do that with this simply by running one in, one out, and not lose any functionality there. You have an aux input, which we're going to test out to have simultaneous audio with aux and optical to see if we can get both at the same time. The old Astro A50s did do that, which was great for mixed use for PC, phone, etc. There's your power input. That's what this cable that it came with is going to go to, connect your Xbox or your computer. And then on the side, that's your extra charge port. If you want to charge your headset without resting it on the stand, you can do that. And then Xbox and PC mode. You will have to put it in PC mode if you want to use the microphone on this headset. So that's that. So that's basically it. Lime green, of course, and black. As far as the specifications go, the headphones are very powerful. Even the old A50s sounded incredible. The microphone wasn't known to be the best, and when the new Astro A20s came out, they had a really nicely improved microphone. So the old A50s kind of got left behind. This new one is much better. As far as the specs go, it has 40 millimeter neodymium magnets, so the bass response I expect to be excellent on this as well. Again, I already mentioned it's a micro USB port. The wireless range is up to 30 feet. Realistically, 15 to 20 feet will be pretty reliable. It does use the 5 gigahertz spectrum, so you shouldn't have too many interference issues. And then it has a 15-hour rated battery life. My old A50s lasted about 12 hours with normal use, and then over time the batteries started to die off. So keep in mind that if you use this for a couple of years, you will have to look into getting a new replacement battery. These aren't the easiest ones to swap out, but we'll take this apart and play with that after. So that's basically the unboxing. We're going to use it for a while, and then we'll talk about the software and what you can do to customize it, and that is about it. So if you look at the software here, you're starting with the equalizer presets. Now, as long as your headset's turned on, you'll see this screen. Otherwise, if it's off, such as here, you'll be prompted with this little alert telling you to turn it back on. So we're going to turn the headset back on now, and this is wirelessly. Your headset does not have to be docked in order to use this feature or sync to the device. It does do it wirelessly. So first screen you see is equalizer presets. There is a slider, as mentioned earlier, on the headset to go through 3 different equalizer presets. So as you toggle through on your headset, you'll see it instantly change on the software here, which is great. I love that it communicates in real time. If you want to modify preset 1, for example, all I have to do is click on the left-hand side here, and I can see what's changing on my preset. And if I like that EQ, I can hit on the top left corner, you see sync to device. I can click that and it'll flash it. So that's now the permanent equalizer setting. Let me make sure I turn this back on. So if you're happy with that, you can sync it. If you want to customize it, you can customize each individual equalizer parameter. I can go up and down, etc. And if I hit save, it overrides the Pro profile with my new settings. I'm going to hit revert to go back to how it was. The other thing you can do is create new profiles. You can delete or open profiles. So if you're modifying one a lot and you want to recover something, you can simply use this to recover, because you can go into advanced settings, and here's a warning basically saying that you can really screw up your sound if you pick really odd parameters. So we'll hit OK. And here you can actually choose not only the decibel boost or reduction, you can choose at what frequency, and then your crossover frequency. And what these mean is how wide of a band or how gradual of a boost or reduction it makes on that frequency. So if you picked 95 hertz, instead of targeting 95 hertz exactly, there's obviously a range, from 40 to 140 hertz, 160 hertz, and 95 is basically your center point of where it's increasing and reducing. So you can change to see how tight that is or how wide if you want to have a smoother overall sound across all 5 bands. We're going to close this. We're not going to get into tuning and saying this is the best setting, because depending on what you're listening to or using the headsets for, there's different benefits to all of them. I like Astro Pro Plus just because for games like first-person shooters or battle royales, you want to hear footsteps, so you don't need too much bass, but it's nice to have this high-end treble over here. You just pick up footsteps a little bit more cleanly. So the big thing for me is microphone. I like this setting. Home is the default and warm is the default. If you have a deeper voice, warm might be a little bit muddy. So if you change the mic equalizer to airy or bright, it does noticeably brightened up the microphone sensitivity or equalizer, if you will. So it does sound really nice. I noticed a drastic improvement, and without me saying anything to my friends, they commented that or asked if I changed my microphone because it did sound different. The top part, noise gating, is basically if you're not speaking loud enough or long enough, it won't pick up that noise. So if I'm talking quietly or I click a button on my keyboard, you won't hear that in tournament mode. But if I yell like, "Let's go, baby," tournament mode will pick that up no problem, as with all the others, because the gating gets weaker as you go. Home is the default setting. Again, basically it's a moderate noise gate, a moderate to medium noise gate. So some backward noise gets eliminated, which is good if you have a fan at low volume. As long as it's not blowing directly on the mic, it won't pick it up. Night mode reduces the noise gate even more. And as you reduce the noise gate, it sounds more and more like a natural voice recording or broadcast. But the problem is you get more background noise. So you kind of want to find this sweet spot. I found that streaming it does sound good, but it's extremely sensitive. It picks up everything in the background, even if you're pressing buttons on your controller, which can get annoying. So I'd recommend night or home. Obviously, if you're in a tournament, use tournament because that's essential. USB mic level, if you're using this on a computer, you can change your digital gain right here in the software to make the microphone more or less sensitive. Side tone is how well you can hear yourself speaking in the headset. If you're one that tends to talk very loud when the game gets loud because you can't hear yourself talking, increase the side tone, and anyone that's not wearing headphones in the same room or neighboring room at your home or business will really appreciate the reduction of your voice volume in the room. So let's go to Stream Port. We're not really going to spend much time on this because this does not work on the A50. This is good software for different headsets, but the Stream Port functionality is useless because they don't have the Stream Port output on the Gen 3 A50s, and the new Gen 4s coming out in August do not have that either. So this is kind of a pointless page, but it is there. Settings, default balance. I like this because you can have it so when you boot up the headset, what the crossover is from game to voice. My friends tend to speak pretty loudly, so I prefer the crossfade to be more on game because I like hearing footsteps and I don't want the chat to overpower that. So find a sweet spot, save it, and that will help a lot for just turning on the headset and playing. Alert volume, low battery, changing the sound profile, turning Dolby Surround on off. That's where this adjustment goes. And then your base station brightness. It's a little bit of a difference, but you can change the brightness here. So that covers the software. And then, of course, you could see the battery percentage in the corner. And on settings, you can check for firmware updates, upload manually if you have a file that you were sent, save and load profiles, and if you're having issues, generate a TPS report, which I thought was funny if you like the movie Office Space. So that about covers the software. We're going to pivot over to some final thoughts of the headset and kind of explain where our head's at with this one. Okay, so that wraps up the Astro A50 gaming headset review. At $299, it is not the least expensive headset out there. In fact, it's one of the most expensive gaming headsets, especially for console. I do love it, though, because it has a fiber optic input for Dolby Digital surround sound, true Dolby Digital surround sound, not simulated. And with the USB on it, you can function as a computer headset or console. Now, what I like is if you're streaming and you're on a budget, one thing that's cool that you can do is use the Dolby Digital output or the fiber output out from your Xbox to the base. That'll give you the game sound. Then plug this into your computer through the USB. Set it to PC mode, and then you can use the headset for sound and chat on PC, which means if you use the Xbox app for your party chat instead of the built-in Xbox's party chat, your stream capture software from Streamlabs, OBS, or XSplit can then get your microphone audio, which you have full control over now, the game chat from the Xbox party chat, and you get to still experience true Dolby Digital surround sound on your Astro A50 headphones through the Xbox itself. So they're very versatile. There's no other headset right now that will let you do all that without having to buy more hardware, invest in special software, splitters, etc. And the quality is excellent. Battery life has held up really well. I've used this for several months. Still can get a whole few, 2-3 nights of gaming, depending on how long you play. It's rated at 15 hours. I think that's pretty accurate, and the battery's held up really well. I've never tried to play around with the mod kit because I feel that the foam ones are still very comfortable. With that being said, I love these things. The only drawback is the 5 gigahertz spectrum that they use for transmitting audio will occasionally cut out. If you're experiencing this issue, try to change your wireless antennas on your router to a lower channel, preferably in the 40s. If you're between 150 to 165 on the 5 gigahertz channel, it will interfere with this headset and cause a lot more drops. If you're experiencing that in an apartment, I am sorry because you can't control your neighbors. However, at least set your own router to be in the 40s to minimize that. The Gen 4s that come out in August of 2019 will supposedly fix a lot of those issues with audio dropouts. So if you don't want to pay, get these on clearance, or you don't have these already, I suggest looking into the Gen 4s. A lot of the features and software are nearly identical. However, it has an updated, more compact base, better charging contact points, and doesn't have the audio drop issue. I did not like the audio charging or the contact points for the base of this A50. You have to jiggle it around a lot to get it to seat properly. If you game for a long period of time, or you have them bent funny or sitting on the desk, they don't quite sit just right. You have to tweak it to get it to charge. However, with all that being said, at $300, they are still my favorite headphones. I plan on upgrading to the Gen 4s when they're available because it takes everything that's great about this and makes it better. I hope I answered some questions and showed you some things you didn't know about this already. I'm speaking quickly to keep this short. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment below or ask a question, whatever it may be, and I will be happy to answer them for you. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.